I'm Joe Giglio for NJ Sports Now on this Monday, June the 8th, and the New York Mets come home off a split with the Arizona Diamondbacks. A nice victory on Sunday behind Jacob deGrom, behind a pair of home runs from Curtis Granderson. As the Mets come home here, 31-27 now in the season, 58 games into the season, the New York Mets, folks, are in first place. You wouldn't know it, though, by listening and following on Twitter with so many Mets fans complaining since the middle of April, complaining about a team that has played below 500 baseball since their great start in the middle of April, and they had that big winning streak and couldn't be beat at home, and all things were clicking for the 2015 Mets. Well, you look up, though, still in first place, still with a better record right now than the Washington Nationals, a team that is supposed to have so much more talent than the Mets. But I think as you look at this Mets season, you look at the ebbs and flows of this Mets season, they have actually overachieved to be where they are at this point in the season. Smack dab there with the Nationals at the top of the NL East and right in a muck for what will be one of two National League wildcard spots. The Mets are a contender in a National League that is screaming for teams to just get up and grab a playoff spot by the throat. No one really has in terms of that wild card mix, and the Nationals certainly not yet have taken off to the point where we have to say they're going to run away with this division. As you look at the Mets, they've had so many injuries over the course of this year. To be 31-27, to be in first place on June the 8th is an accomplishment for them. And as you look forward, this season has a chance to be a contending year all the way through for Sandy Alderson's club. And, as we get into June here, July, just a couple weeks away, this is where the Mets season will be made or will be broken. The Mets are good enough with their pitching. Yes, a five-man rotation now, scrapping the idea of a six. The Mets are good enough and have enough pitching, are deep enough in starting pitching. They will contend all year long, and they will be in this race, whether it be for the division or one of the wild card spots, all the way through August into September. But if the Mets are going to get over the top, if the Mets are actually going to be good enough, despite injuries to David Wright, despite injuries to Travis d'Arnaud, despite a lack of depth across the infield, now with another injury to Daniel Murphy. If the Mets are going to do this and be good enough to actually get into October baseball for the first time since 2006, they need a reinforcement. They need at least one versatile player to be able to play around the field, but give them a presence in the order, give them a professional at bat every single game. And this is where Sandy Alderson, Mets general manager, is going to make his money and make or break the Mets. Now look, Alderson has been great since coming to the Mets at executing trades and winning trades. You go back to the big one, swapping R.A. Dickey after a Cy Young for Travis d'Arnaud and Noah Syndergaard, two guys now for the Mets, building blocks for the next 5 years. Meanwhile, Dickey, an average pitcher on a below 500 team up in Toronto. Of course, swapping Carlos Beltran before his free agent year for Zach Wheeler. Sandy Alderson knows how to make a trade, did it way back in the day with Ricky Henderson. He's done this before. He's rebuilt teams through trades, and he has added to teams in the midst of pennant races through trades. That's where the Mets are now, and that's what Alderson must do over the next month and a half. Whether it be a Ben Zobrist or an Aramis Ramirez or a Todd Frazier, whoever that player is, and Zobrist would be perfect for the New York Mets coming over from Oakland. Whoever that player is, the Mets need to add them, plug them in, and be that missing piece to get this team over the top and to keep this team in it all the way through. I'm Joe Giglio for NJ Sports.